Hello community, so great that you are back. Today we focus our research on MCP security, A2A security, general all the agentic security issues that we have, and especially at the end we will look at the Internet of Agents and what we encounter there from a security point of view. So let's start here and let's have here the first publication, May 6, 2025 by Google. And this is here one of the first surveys on multi-modal system. And they analyze here all the adversarial attack vectors for multi-modal system. And if you think we know everything, well, look at this. Google tells us here, look, in the green, we already started to have some research how to counteract those attack vectors. And in the other gray area that you see, we don't even have an idea. We have no research at all. This is complete open. This is the current landscape of secure AI. Have a look at this. This is from April 22nd, 2025, comprehensive survey of LLM and agent full stack safety. This is now really interesting because it gives us here a good overview. Look at this regarding security. We have everything from the data to the pre-training, the fine-tuning, the editing. I was amazed to learn that there's an unlearning attack vector that we unlearn in our LLMs, here the security guidelines, for example, and then everything in post-training. And then, of course, the agent deployment. This is what happened in 2024, and here you see the slides for 2025, and it is amazing what is currently developed, either the attack vector or to protect us from those attack vectors here, the countermeasures. And I will focus here on the countermeasures, but of course we have to talk about what are the current threats, how can we protect ourselves. Now, it's going to happen on every single layer that you can imagine if you train an LLM. You have attack vectors on a pre-training stage, on a fine-tuning stage, on the alignment stage. Wherever you ever have a connection, you have LLM-generated data, you have factual inaccuracies, you have fabricated logical chain, you have here synthetic data pipelines that contain phishing content, you have misalignment in the reinforcement learning, you have manipulated data samples of the preference data set that you find on the internet. It is simply unbelievable the amount of attack vectors currently out in the wild. Now here you see a taxonomy for the post-training safety measures you can take. Here these are the defense elements that you should have a look at. Depending on where you are, if you're in the alignment, fine-tuning, or wherever, recovery system maybe, you have to take action now because look, this is now here 2025. Look what just happened in 2024 from the defense sector. And I have to tell you, the development of the attack vectors, it's much faster than we can build our defenses. And it starts here from fine-tuning, supervised fine-tuning to reinforcement learning by human feedback. You find it all over the place. You have it here, single agent or multi-agent system. You have clear attack vectors. You have here in this publication the defense mechanism. Have a look at this, especially if you go to LLM-based agentic system. We have memory attacks of our agent, which are simply unbelievable. We have tool poisoning. We have wherever you are from jailbreaking, injection, manipulation, which is amazing. But this paper provides a very good overview. I recommend this. Especially the post-training phases are becoming increasingly critical. They are here the main entrance door. And also because we have data generation, because we have to train or fine-tune or reinforcement learning our LLMs here on artificial, on synthetic data that we take from the internet. This is here an extreme problem. But what also I found amazing is here that we have attack vectors for unlearning the safety protocol. There's really specific methodologies, please read in the paper, where you just learn the LLM to unlearn here the safety protocol. This is amazing. Who had this idea? As it is just, read this paper. It is simply stunning. But we have, of course, here the next paper, and this is from September 2024, a survey on the key security challenges and the future pathways. Plus, what they give us here is a very nice agent security regarding here the interaction. And agent to environment, agent to agent, and agent to memory. And they list here what are the attack vectors here and how we can have here countermeasures. In about 5 minutes, I will talk much more in detail about agent to agent and MCP protocols, but let's start here to build up the complexity. Now, the next paper is really interesting. Here's from November 2024, and they show us now here scenarios where we have here this fine-tuning. And if you have a look at this, it is simply amazing. If you take here a pre-trained LLM, you can also have a pre-trained contaminated LLM, or if you take any data or any methodology or any algorithm, you can, with the fine-tuning, you can have a toxic LLM within milliseconds. Wherever are your attack vectors attached, it is simply amazing what's happening. Here we have a privacy attack scenario with a jailbreaking, and this is here the overview here on the security and the privacy vulnerabilities and the countermeasures we are currently aware and the instruction. So have a look at this study, really interesting. But let's come closer now, and we have RAG, external data. And RAG is, in 2024, it was quite common, a beautiful mechanism, no? But look here, May 13, 2025, securing RAG, a risk assessment and a new mitigation framework for RAG in particular. And they give you here the general RAG pipeline, and they tell you here the risk assessment here for every single step. And you read this and you say, this is absolutely crazy. This is nuts. Is there not one step where we have no attack vector that would here try here to penetrate here the security gate? It is, read it. But now let's come here to the latest development. Everybody is integrating here the model context protocol by Anthropic here. So you might say, hey, I'm safe, I have MCP. No. Do you know that MCP is not an agent framework, but rather just a standardized integration layer for agents to have access to external tools, to external data? And if you are a little bit into security, you immediately understand here the immediate danger that you encounter. So let's have here a look here, April 6, 2025, Model Context Protocol, Landscape, Security, Threats, and Future Research Directions, here from our friends on China, the Huang University of Science and Technology, great, beautiful, and they give you a detailed overview on the MCP workflow, where are the vulnerabilities and where attack vectors will attack your system and the countermeasures you have to perform. This is now the third time that I record this video, because whenever I upload this to Google, there seem to be that if I use some wordings, then this video is suddenly, this is not a safe video. So please read this, you see this. I don't want to spell out here everything in detail, because otherwise this is now not the final version of this video. But you see, you have attack vectors on every single layer: server registration, installer development, code integrity verification, tool execution, /command, sandbox mechanism, authorization, version control, the older version. It is simply unbelievable. Yeah, given the decentralized nature of MCP server deployment, you have a client-server protocol, which is just, this is security hyper risk, but okay, you do have to uncover the potential vulnerabilities in the tool invocation and the sandbox implementation and the privilege management, exploration of context-aware agent orchestration in multi-tool environments is just an open gate for everybody to do whatever they want. If you go then for multi-step cross-system workflows, this is just, the risk is just exploding. And if you then go and you explore techniques like a dynamic state management and error recovery and a workflow validation, you are just behind. You are just behind the attack vectors. So what are the main MCP risks to make you aware your system is not safe? Not at all. You have here that MCP servers often store the authentication token for the external tools. If compromised, you can hijack their account and execute unauthorized commands. Attackers can exploit the vulnerabilities in any MCP server, gain access to sensitive data, manipulate interaction between AI models and tools. Malicious inputs could force the MCP to execute unintended commands. This is a very nice wording, or leak confidential information. You have manipulation of the upstream data, the documents or the databases. They corrupt the context used by the AI agents. You have overprivileged MCP implementation might allow attackers to aggregate data across the complete system, risk of misuse, and you have weak authentication mechanism. MCP could enable root server introduction, connecting, hijacking, or credential theft. You have to protect against this. Now, how you do this? Now, luckily, MCP is here in real close interaction with agent-to-agent protocol by Google. Before we go there, okay, I forgot there was another. From glue code to protocols, a critical analysis of A2A and MCP integration for scalable agent system. Real interesting paper. I tell you, okay, we have a look at the compounded security risk arising from the combined discovery and execution. If we have an agent, a local agent, a Gemini API, an agent development kit, and then we have MCP, a model context protocol to different enterprise application, API, tools, whatever we have. And then we have a look at the risk assessment of the multi-agent workflow with A2A and MCP. And they have a look here, detail in the workflow every step. Yeah, and they give you here a beautiful explanation here of the differences of A2A protocol and Anthropic MCP protocol. If you look here at the communication protocol itself, or the security focus, the modality support, the asynchronicity, the state managed discovery, the key strength, great. But if you read one paper, if you remember one thing of this video, it will be the next paper. It is by Google on A2A security. So here we have it, May 2nd, 2025, Google. Building now a secure agentic AI application leveraging Google's agent-to-agent protocol. This is an amazing publication. I can't read it because you understand I have keyword problems here if I read this, but please. So I just want to give you a very different overview. So we have key principle, agentic first, standard compliant, and secure by default. Now this would be great. But if you look closer, I would recommend here, read here the core concepts from the agent card, the A2A server, the A2A client implementation, and everything that goes with this. Then have a look at common A2A multi-agent system threats. Agent card spoofing. I thought, who had this idea to manipulate here in A2A the agent cards? Look at what all the ideas that are out there and what vulnerability and vulnerability dependencies are now open in the A2A server and client, and what you can do against this. It's an absolute fascinating literature. Or have a look at the mitigating here the security threats in an A2A-based multi-agent system. Here, my brain just said, well, that's it. After 6 hours of reading those papers, my brain said, ciao, see you tomorrow. So I leave this up to you, but just want to tell you, have a look here at the mitigation strategies, at the prevention here. Have a look what is possible, and your mind will be blown. The security risks are exploding in multiple dimensions. They have case studies. Look at this. Look especially at case study number 2, the distributed data analysis, and the world will not be the same for you. They also have here a beautiful comparison of A2A to MCP protocol, and they give you here an end-to-end agent collaboration utilizing A2A and MCP, and they show you here on each layer exactly the vulnerabilities, and they are just breathtaking. You will not sleep tonight. And the final paper I want to present to you, because now it's just surreal, it's irrational at the level we are entering now, is now we even have problems from agent-to-agent protocols and MCP protocol with tool connectivity, but now we build Internet of Agents. And you might say, are you totally gone crazy? Are you not aware of the risk that you have if you go to Internet of Agents? But hey, who cares? So let's do it. Let's break everything. Here we have a beautiful study. This is just days ago for me, May 12, 2025. And this is about security of Internet of Agents, the attacks and the countermeasures you can take. A beautiful paper goes into real different from hallucination cascades. Yeah, let's have a look at this. So the Internet of Agents, a decentralized ecosystem on autonomous AI agents, LLMs, robots, drones, everything is interconnected. This faces now, and this is not here, this is real, a unique security and privacy challenges on a level you cannot even imagine before you read this study. Because we are going now with embodied interaction. And now the security risks are again exploding in even higher dimension. It's just gone crazy. So this new report tries now to categorize here all the different attack vectors in 4 major groups. I show you those groups. And also I ranked here the most severe threats that you are immediately aware if you are into the Internet of Agents, where we have a connection between autonomous robot, autonomous drones, autonomous vehicles, autonomous whatever, LLMs, vision, language, action models. Those are where I would say, those are the top 8 threats here. Here 4 are absolutely critical, they're in red, and 4 here I rank here with a high vulnerability. I can't pronounce the names here, otherwise Google will tell me, hey, this video is not safe to be released to the public. So please have a look here. I will not pronounce it, but you see here in the category identity, authentication, cross-agent trust, privacy, embodied security. I was not even aware that we have this. Identity, authentication, cross-agent trust, and embodied security. Those are now the risks that we have to be aware and that we have to find solutions. Now, this study gives us here beautiful here. Look, the security and the privacy threats in this Internet of Agents. The easiest one is here the identity authentication threat. Then we have the cross-agent trust issues. This is just blowing my mind. And then we go to a complete new level of complexity with embodied AI. Embodied security with all our sensors out there, from vision, LiDAR, radar, multispectrographs. It is simply breathtaking what could happen. This year, at the beginning of this video, we looked at multi-modal systems. These are multi-modal system squared or cubed. This is pure amazement. And then the privacy threats from RAG privilege and agent memorization, and we talked about this. This is just here the part 1, what cross-agent trust issues, and you see here with the numbers here, if you go to this publication, this is the link to this publication, you immediately see if you want to take care about certain things, what could be the countermeasure, and you see the publication. So you can't click in the video on 35, but you have to go there, and there you click here in, then the references here on the paper 35 here, and you get access to this information. 4 groups. Let's make it very easy. The 4 groups. Group 1 is identity authentication threats. No? Unauthorized access and manipulation. Second, the cross-agent trust issues. If you have collaborative workflows, inter-agent, multi-agent collaboration, multi-agent training, you have errors propagating from agent to agent or adversarial inputs across the agent layers. Embodied security threats. Physical attacks on targeting tensors, actuators, sensors, cyber-physical system, whatever you can find, whatever has contact to the external environment. And then, of course, data sharing. And this is just crazy. Now, I listed here, just to give you here the naming from the group 1, 5 elements. So we have identity forgery, impersonation attacks, Sybil attacks. This is really, you have to be careful. This is really critical, especially if you have thousands of Sybil agents and A2A protocols to manipulate here the consensus. go to reference 26 if you want to see the study on this. Privilege escalation, intent deception, group 2, hallucination cascades. This is amazing what you can build on purpose here to disturb here the reasoning process in an LLM. Knowledge poisoning with poisoned RAG system. Who would build this? My goodness. Adversarial attacks, jailbreaking, prompt injection, free writing, and so on. Absolutely new, absolutely fascinating, everything that is now with embodied AI, the embodied AI security threats by sensor spoofing, by manipulation from acoustic waves, metamaterial tags for the radar sensors, laser impulses here, or whatever you have physical harm to the sensors, whatever you have. Yeah, I don't want to tell you too much. Have a look at the literature. Contextual backdoors, those are familiar. Cross-domain safety alignments, we talked about this. And then with privacy, contextual privacy, then of course RAG, privacy leakage, and agent memorization, where this is really sensitive if you work with personal data, with sensitive data. There you have immediately privacy violation. So how you cope with this, you should have a clear documentation, because maybe if you're working here with a national environment that has certain national regulation on this, regarding privacy regulation, you have to prove that you have taken measures. This is it for the first time that I have here a video on the real security issues we face today. Those are the most important studies. I read a lot of other studies, but I think if you are familiar with those studies, you have a very good starting point. This is really the latest information here in AI research, how to establish countermeasures and fight here the security threats that we have from MCP, A2A, agent, multi-agent, and the Internet of Agents. I hope you enjoyed it. It would be great if you subscribe. Then I see you in the next video.